Talking about sharing experiences, a lot of you are in the creative industry, and sometimes the biggest question is how you migrate or you merge creativity with business. Well, we have answers to that. But first of all, we're starting off with with a woman I'd like to call a trailblazer. I'll give you a little bit of background. She is an MTV award-winning choreographer, actress, and creative entrepreneur. She has been at the forefront of using creativity to not only empower African youth, but also drive sustainable business, success, and uplift communities. Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting off the last session of the summit. It's called From Africa to the World. And starting off this powerful session, I would like for you to take a look at this video, after which we will get the show rolling. Take a look.
Sherry Silver is bringing African culture to the world through the art of dance. Her work went viral with the success of the Childish Gambino video, This Is America, and she became the first African to win an MTV Video Music Award for Best Choreography.
I just want to say that it means so much for me to see African dance on such a platform.
But her impact reaches well beyond the world's greatest stages. As a philanthropist, Silver invests her time and money into improving life in her homeland.
There you go.
From fighting malaria.
Malaria steals futures of children. Together, today, we can make that change.
To working with the World Health Organization, Silver is passionate about creating change. She started her own foundation to help bring the arts to kids in Rwanda. And as a UN advocate, she fights for the futures of children in rural communities.
Ensuring these young people will have jobs will be the defining challenge of this era alongside climate change. Our time is now.
Through her choreography and her philanthropic efforts, Sherry Silver is creating a more beautiful world for the next generation.
Never let anybody tell you to give up. Dream big.
6 o'clock in the morning. She goes back to shower. She tell me say she want nobody, yes. My capability sour. Mommy, yeah, mommy, oh, mommy, mommy, oh, nobody gives a care, baby, nobody gives a care, and nobody gives a care. When they say baby, nobody gives a care.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome none other than Sherry Silver.
Good evening, everyone. I have seen firsthand how the creative industry can change lives for the better. It sometimes just takes the right support, someone to believe in you, the right infrastructure, and someone to invest in you. And this is what the Sherry Silver Foundation does. We started the Sherry Silver Foundation to give young people a safe space to come, grow, express themselves, develop their talents, and turn their hobbies into careers. Through investing in young people, we have seen someone go from being a street child to traveling the world, putting smiles on people's faces, and being celebrated. We've seen kids go from not being able to afford basic school fees to going to private school. And this is what I live for. I can truly say I'm living the dream. And our goal is to build Rwanda's first theater, which will be housed in a talent development center where we hope to see many, many young talents hit the global stage the way that I have been able to. But we can't do it alone. We need to join hands and take these young people seriously. For us, we start from a very early age, and I think you're never too young, because I did my first movie when I was 15, and here I am now. So thank you, and I look forward to speaking to you more.
A big round of applause for her. Are there any dancers in the house? Any dancers? Our students? Anybody know how to dance? Shall I ask the DJ to give us a song? So we see who's the best dancer in the house, who Sherry is going to take on her next set. Yes? Yes? All in favor say aye. Oh, I see some dancers here. Hi, Ivy.
Everyone's scared.
All right. Oh, yeah, that's scary. That can be scary. What we just witnessed is the transformative power of the creative arts, not just to celebrate our culture and talent, but also as a powerful tool to reshape the world's creative economy. Now, I'm excited to just launch into our next session. We are talking about Africa to the world, powering the new creative economy. By way of introduction, my name is Na Ashoko. I'm a Ghanaian broadcast journalist. I'm a theater director, an actor, and an advocate for African storytelling. And today, I'm excited about this particular conversation because of the many other conversations and experiences that I have had in this space. From where I sit, I'd say we are at an intersection between creativity and opportunity. The world knows that Africa is blessed with diverse culture, innovation, and a burning entrepreneurial spirit in the creative space. The world has embraced Afrobeats 100%. We see filmmakers like Ghana's Shirley Frimpong-Manso taking advantage of YouTube to put African content on the global stage. We see our African fashion designers. I see a lot of us here in African outfits. We see Pistis, we see Christy Brown, and a lot of Nigerian, Rwandan, Ugandan, really good designers putting African fabrics and African prints on the world stage. We see Skin Gourmet, we see Kinky Matters, and other shea butter and skincare products doing so well on the world stage. But the big question is, what next? There are so many different areas of the creative sector. Which area will be the next to take the global stage by storm? To have this conversation, I am so glad that we are doing this with none other than two very phenomenal women in the space. We've met Sherry. Our second VIP speaker today is a woman who I have come to know and love. She's a powerhouse, and you'd understand when she comes up on stage. She is the co-founder of Engage Africa. She is also a global advocate with extensive experience in high-level partnerships and diplomacy. And at the heart of all she does is that she's a storyteller who constantly leverages on the power of storytelling to change the way the world sees Africa and the way Africans perceive themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, please, this is our last session, so I'm going to ask you to give me your last applause with a very big round of applause. Make some noise. Make some noise. Welcome up on stage, Uget Bettina. Keep clapping until she gets here. And I should tell you that she's a dancer too. Hello, ladies. How you get?
Thank you so much for having me, Na.
Thank you for joining us. I love your outfit.
Thank you so much. I'm literally what they call the creative
Yeah.
fashion. So I'm wearing actually Ghanaian, you know.
Yes.
Christy Brown and Talent.
Talency.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Africa to the world. Africa to the world. Now, ladies, I want us to get straight into it. We're all creative entrepreneurs, and you ladies have done so much in the space on the continent and on the global platform. Thank you, first of all, and congratulations to you both. Now, let's come to you, Sherry. You've successfully been able to carry African culture and African dance to the global stage, working with big brands. How many of you have seen Sing, the animation Sing? Do you love it?
Absolutely.
You know those amazing dance moves in Sing were choreographed by Sherry.
Woo. Woo. Thank you.
Look, I have two left feet and I cannot dance to save my life, but that choreography, I mean, it was amazing. And the list of the great work you've done is endless on the world stage.
Thank you.
To the many young African creatives who are listening to us today, what strategic steps would you say they can take to ensure that they're able to carry their talent from Africa to the world stage while still staying true to their roots as African?
Thank you. Thank you for the lovely introduction. People always feel like they have to change who they are to be able to appeal to an international market. So the first thing I would say is you have to believe in what you're bringing to the table. I know you might go to a table and you see a traditional English dinner, some potatoes, some roast lamb, and you don't want to bring jollof rice. People might look at you like, what are you doing? But sometimes if you don't bring that jollof rice to the table, how will you know? And it can either throw people off and leave them totally confused, which is possible, or it can blow their mind and they can be like, wow, this is what we've been needing all this time. So what I do, I work in a commercial world. My main work is TV commercials. And of course, I work with many nervous clients and agencies. And what I always try to do is to sprinkle in as much culture and as much of my style. I can get away with it until someone freaks out. And most of the time, they're really happy about the result and they're happy that they took the risk. And I found that anyone that hires me or brings me on board on their project knows that they're not going for something regular. They're going to go for something unique. So they already have that in mind, bringing me on board. And yeah, I've seen it. And I think we were talking earlier, Huguette, about, for example, the Kendrick Lamar performance. We were dressed in traditional ballet outfits. The music was hip hop. And here we are doing some traditional Rwandan dance.
Yeah.
In a normal day, that wouldn't make sense, right? But apparently people are still talking about it. Same with the Childish Gambino, This Is America, and many, many projects I've worked on. You just have to believe in what you're bringing to the table, that it's special. And
self-belief. Well, you know what I'll bring to the table? Pounded yam. Truly African.
Pounded yam with
pounded yam with a goosey or ingwami flour or something like that. Fufu. Yeah. you wash your hands and eat, and you know that this is African. But let's come to you, Huguette. Now, storytelling is a powerful thing, and that's what you do. And the ability to use the African storytelling to reshape global narratives about Africa is something that we cannot run away from. We need to do it. How can African creatives successfully leverage the power of storytelling, not only to change global narratives, but also build commercially successful businesses?
So you guys remember, one of the powerful things we started with was the video from Sherry, and you saw how powerful it was. And I honestly believe storytelling is our magical sauce.
Yeah.
Not only for vibes, not only for culture, but it's really how we build brands. It's how we influence markets and cash in on our brilliance. So when we tell bold stories and authentically, we actually come back to, it's not just entertaining. We're actually taking the central stage of how people should have to, it's unlocking the value of our own brilliance, essentially. So, I've worked with different brands and different platforms, like something like Story House, which is a creative space connecting 5,000 creatives, families of storytellers, dancers, filmmakers, to bring that talent of the continent. And I'm seeing people here on the stage, like Ivy, or even yourself, who are journalists and theaters. If you don't showcase your story to the world, nobody's going to do it. And Chimamanda doesn't say it. We are the only people who can tell our own story.
Exactly.
Otherwise, somebody's going to tell it to us. So yeah. It's our magical source, essentially.
Yeah, the onus is on us. And now we have all these platforms, and the platforms are free that we can use to showcase our talent to the world. And we were talking earlier about Ghetto Kids that you, Sherry, have worked with. And we see that they showcase Africa the whole way through their dance moves, the music they use, the setting, the background, everything, and now they're on the world stage. So, shouts to you, Sherry, for all the great work you're doing.
Thank you.
Now, let's talk about the things that the world has embraced from Africa. All right, we're doing well with Afrobeats. We're doing well with our fashion. I've seen some Christy Brown outfits on huge stages across the world. I've seen Pistis outfits on huge stages across the world. Now, the creative sector is not limited to fashion and music and dance. There's so much more. in your opinion, and both of you, which other aspects of the creative sector do you see is probably next in line to take the global stage?
So, as I mentioned earlier, one of our goals with the Sherry Silver Foundation is to build the first theatre in Rwanda, Broadway style.
Awesome.
And I think African theatre is
I think that deserves a very big round of applause. Broadway style theatre.
I think African theatre is next.
Okay.
For me, going to the theatre as a child and going to theatre school honestly shaped my personality. It gave me a platform to express myself, and I've seen so many African plays which are amazing. And for me, I think African theatre is next. I know we're running out of time, so I'll just stop there.
Yeah.
How about you, Hugo?
I mean, for me, like, theater goes without saying, but as the world is going, I see animation. So we're talking about, we have that sexy animated ChatGPT.
I know. I didn't want to say it, but she said it.
I mean, it was very, very handsome.
For all the ladies in the house, if you agree with what she said, say hi. Oh, you didn't hear what she said, did you?
Should I repeat it?
Please do.
Yeah, I said, animation is one of them, and I talked about the Abby, he's very sexy and
so hot.
I was like, how did they do that? You can see how African illustrators are fusing culture and fantasy and heritage in a way that excites the audience globally. So there's a digital storytelling, gaming, but the most important one, to be honest, it's sports.
Yeah.
As a culture, but as a creative, most of the time we think about sport as one of the things that as a mean to an end, but it's actually, you think you need to creativity. And I'm seeing the founder of one of the most amazing youth empowerment initiative called Tony W, which is here in Rwanda, blending football, education, health, community building. It's really creating footballers of stars of tomorrow. So, which is something that we did not have as a start at the grassroots in the beginning in our communities, in our society. So they have like developing 61 elite athletes.
Whoa.
Not in Kigali, but in Musanze, which is outside of Kigali. And 5 of the players are already placed in professional Portuguese football clubs.
It's amazing.
Which is a little bit what Sherry is doing in, taking these kids, taking them to the world, and which is what it's about, Africa to the world, essentially. So, this is how you take new kind of culture export, and we showcase our work beyond, because, we don't need to take it to the world. We have to showcase it in, regionally ourselves, but we are able, once we put the right training and funding,
to be able to do it.
Towards,
to be able to do it. And I'm so glad you both agree on theater, because I'm a huge theater advocate, because I work in theater as an actor and as a director. And I think that it's one sure way to export the African creative sector. And it's also a sure way to engineer social change and change the storytelling or the narrative about Africa on the global stage. Now, let's talk about money. Let's talk about money. Now, we all agree that the creative sector is driven by passion. I think a lot of creative people would first want to just put the work out there because we're so passionate about the work we've done. But when it comes to finding investors, getting the right financial models and support systems and channels to be able to make money, rake in income, and be able to do more with our work, we might be lacking a bit. Now, you work with policymakers, you work with investors. What advice can you give to the creatives here and who are listening to us around the world about support systems and financial models which will work?
I mean, we really need to move from applause to infrastructure, and to architecture, really, actually, simply. So, we have seen creativity and you want to talk about theater. I mean, we already have like troops and dancers, but what we're lacking is the infrastructure, theaters that we need to build in place. So working with, like for example, I have one of the key things that, for example, Tony, I just gave an example, they are building football pitches to give access. So it requires a lot of funding. It requires a lot of working with government partnership, public-private partnerships, protection of IPs. We need to think about, creatives as entrepreneurs and invest in them. So how do we include that into policies? So I work with the World Bank as well, and I've managed to find a way of, through heads of state and celebrities and culture influencers, how do you create that gap and put create that connection of showcasing how it is important, education to all, touching all of us. So it's really the investment in policies in changing the way we think about creative, the way we think about investing in money, making, giving them like lower taxes.
Is that to tell us our time is up?
Oh.
That's to tell us, okay. So we're almost, all right. So we have a little more
minutes.
time. We have a little more time. Let me come to you, Sherry. Still on the money, because the money is very important. Now, as someone who has built an international career with very limited resources, starting from Rwanda, what advice would you give to young creatives here who are looking to do same with very limited financial resources and connections and so on? How can they still thrive and be able to do what you're doing with all these limitations?
First of all, professionalism. I would say professionalism builds reliability. So make sure that you're the right person for the job. So when it does come to a point where you meet a potential investor, you're someone that people want to invest in. So as basic as this sounds, be someone that's on time to meetings, be someone that's passionate about your craft, work hard, constantly innovate yourself. You need to be unique. It's a very competitive market out there, I tell you, and things are changing and developing all the time. So as a young creative, you need to be unique. You need to invest in talent development, whether it's, I know sometimes we don't have the structures here, or we don't have the availability for people to help you with that talent development. That means go on YouTube, go and learn from YouTube.
Yeah.
Just continue to develop yourself. And I'll also say, build your own lane, create your own lane. And this can, when you're unique, it opens doors for financial investment.
Yeah.
One thing I did during the pandemic, I created my own lane. Some people thought it was weird. I started teaching people how to dance while cooking at the same time. And before I knew it, I kept going, even though people are like, this is weird and dangerous. I kept going, and then Adobe reached out and they wanted to do something with me, and the lights have changed and time
Yeah, and that's
run
our
out.
time. I'm just,
But I just want to finish
wrap
by
that
saying,
up. Yes.
when you do get when you do see financial success, please manage your finances well. A lot of us artists have the tendency
That's
to go and
good
buy
advice.
expensive cars and all of these things.
And shoes.
And shoes, trust me. But yeah, make sure you're investing back into your craft.
All right. Now, I'll give you the final word. You get anything we haven't spoken about that you'd want to touch on?
Yeah, just
Final
say
words.
like Africa doesn't need to prove its creativity. We need to protect it. We need to fund it and build system behind it. So basically, the world is watching us and following us, wearing us, and dancing with us. So we just simply we need to be, our culture needs to be, doesn't just survive, it has to scale.
Yeah.
So just
100% agree with you there. I believe she deserves a very big round of applause. Give it up for Huguette and Sherry. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Na.
For coming on here and sharing this wealth of knowledge and experience with us. And this is just the beginning. To all you creatives here, I hope you're inspired. I hope you've learned something new. And I hope you remember the words. Africa is creative, and the world will see it. The world is seeing it. And the power to keep going is in our hands. So let's not stop. Like Sherry said, stay in your lane. Recognize what's unique. Do it. And when you make the money, don't go buying expensive cars. Invest in the art.
Buy expensive cars
and sure,
and
expensive cars later. But invest in the art and keep growing. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. That's how.
Oh yeah, but when you make the money, please don't forget to buy nice clothes from Ghana, from Nigeria, from Rwanda, from Uganda, from Kenya. It's now Shoko Mensah Doku, my wonderful sister from Ghana. Huguette, of course, she is homegrown right here, now living in Ghana. And Sherry Silver, please a round of applause to our wonderful ladies who have carried us to the end of the summit.